Amen.
Amen.
So yesterday we started our presentation
Včera sme začali našu prezentáciu
with reading selected messages, page 202, paragraph 2.
Čítame vybrané svedectvá
And
2
we said that the track of arrow
a hovorili sme, že tá cesta
and the track of truth
toho omylu a pravdy
lies close together.
ležia blízko seba.
And we know on a path people are walking.
Vieme, že ľudia kráčajú po tej ceste
And we considered that since they're close together, these two tracks,
a my zvažujeme, že keďže sú tak blízko seba tie dve cesty,
that it's very easy to fall off, so to speak.
tak je veľmi jednoduché z nich spadnúť.
And if you remember, I missed a quote yesterday.
Ak si pamätáte, včera som ten citát
And I promised to give the reference today.
nemala a som slúbila, že vám ho dám teraz.
So this is 8T.
To je 8T.
Testimonies to the Church. Page, volume 8, page 290, paragraph 5.
8T 290.
There she talks also about these tracks or these paths.
Tam tiež hovorí o týchto cestách.
And we're just going to read two sentences, the last two sentences of that paragraph.
A prečítame si dve vety z toho.
She says, the path of error often appears to lie close to the path of truth.
Cesta omylu často sa zdá, že leží blízko cesty pravdy.
It's the same as we read here.
To je to, jak sme čítali aj tu.
And remember, the context was the apostasy of Kellogg.
Ten kontext bol odpadnutie Kelloga,
Where she says that Kellogg is the alpha apostasy.
kde hovorí, že Kellogg je alfa odpadnutie.
And we know that the omega apostasy will have the same principle.
Vieme, že omega odpadnutie bude ten istý princíp.
Okay, so the track of truth lies close besides the track of error.
Cesta omylu leží blízko cesty pravdy.
It is hardly distinguishable from the path that leads to holiness in heaven.
Je ťažko odlišiteľná od cesty, ktorá vedie k svetosti a do neba.
So you can barely separate these two.
Veľmi ťažko tieto dve môžeme
It's hard to see
rozlíšiť.
the difference.
Je ťažké vidieť rozdiel.
Yesterday we read here
Včera sme tu čítali,
that we're required to discern the differences.
že sa od nás požaduje vidieť rozdiel.
And that's what we started to do yesterday with addressing the shaking with FFA.
A to sme včera začali robiť, keď sme hovorili o tom triebení z FFA.
And here in this quote, she continues to say,
A v tomto citáte ďalej hovorí,
but the mind enlightened by the Holy Spirit may discern that it is divergent from the right way.
ale tá mysel... moment, teraz mi to nejako... Neviem, pardon.
After a while,
Po chvíli
the two are seen to be widely separated.
tie dve už sú jasne rozdelené, tie dve
That's
cesty.
the part I wanted to emphasize yesterday.
To je to, čo som chcela včera zdôrazniť.
First, they seem to be the same.
Najprv
Almost.
vyzerajú takmer rovnako
Hard to see a difference.
a je ťažké vidieť rozdiel.
We need the Holy Spirit to able to see the differences.
Potrebujeme Ducha Svätého, aby sme mohli vidieť ten rozdiel.
But after a while,
Ale po nejakom čase
you will see how far apart these paths are.
uvidíme, ako idú od seba ďaleko tie cesty.
Why?
Prečo?
Because the path of truth leads to what?
Lebo cesta pravdy vedie k čomu?
Upward, heaven.
Vedie hore.
And the track of error?
A cesta omylu
She says here it's going down.
hovorí, že ide smerom dolu.
So essentially what first seemed to be almost the same
Takže to, čo sa nám najprv zdalo
will
také
end up in
isté,
complete opposite sides.
nakoniec je na úplne opačnej
Yesterday I
strane.
shared that every shaking seems to follow the same pattern.
Včera som ukázala, že každé triebenie ako keby ide v tom istom vzorci.
First, it's hard to see the differences between the messages,
Najprv je ťažké vidieť rozdiel medzi posolstvami,
but you notice that there's something weird. Something weird is going on.
ale všimnete si, že sa tu deje čosi čudné.
And after a while, you can clearly demonstrate the differences.
A po nejakom čase môžete jasne ukázať ten rozdiel.
And I suggested that this is the case now with FFA and us.
A hovorila som, že toto je ten prípad z FFA a s nami.
We can clearly see the differences.
Môžeme jasne vidieť ten rozdiel.
So that was just to finish up the portion which I promised yesterday.
To je tá časť, ktorú som slúbila včera, že
Then we went
vám
to this line
ukážem.
here.
Potom sme išli do tejto línie sem.
We draw the black line,
Nakreslili sme tú
which is the
čiernu
line of the
líniu.
144,000,
To je línia 144 000.
which is our structure.
To je tá naša štruktúra.
Time of the end, 9/11, son-in-law, close of probation, second coming.
Čas konca 9.11, záver milosti, druhý príchod.
And then we said we want to address the priests, because that's us.
A potom sme povedali, že chceme hovoriť o kňazoch, lebo to sme my.
So we took the structure
Zobrali sme tú štruktúru
and applied it to us priests.
a aplikovali ju na kňazov.
And we see this is 1989,
Vidíme, že toto je
2014, 2019, 2021.
89, 9.11, 2014.
I think we're all familiar with that by now.
Myslím, že to už všetci poznáme.
And in red, we
Červený
mark the Millerites.
značíme Milleritov.
This is 1798,
To je 1798,
time of the end.
čas konca.
But now we focused on the development of the midnight cry message of the Millerites.
Teraz sme sa zamerali na vývoj polnočného volania, posolstva polnočného volania.
And from other studies,
A z ďalších štúdií
we can demonstrate how this is April 19th, 1844.
môžeme ukázať, že toto je
Close of
19.
probation is
apríl
October 22nd, 1844.
1844, záver milosti
And the
1844.
development of the midnight cry message
A vývoj polnočného volania
is July 21,
je 21. júl,
which is 2014, the son-in-law.
to je 2014 nedeľný zákon.
So this is just review what we're doing here.
To je také zhrnutie toho, čo
It's all
robíme.
already in the public domain. It's all recorded, how we get to overlay these dates.
Toto je všetko natočené, že ako môžeme tieto dátumy dať do
So for
paralely.
some, it's review, for some it's new.
Pre niektorých je to opakovanie, pre niektorých je to nové.
So from Great Controversy, chapter 38,
Z Veľkého sporu 38.
what happens between the son-in-law and the close of probation?
Čo sa deje medzi nedeľným zákonom a koncom doby milosti?
It's a loud cry.
Je to hlasné volanie.
And we know the loud cry is swelling.
A vieme, že hlasné volanie rastie.
It swells to a loud cry, so to speak. And we
Ra-
can parallel that with the midnight cry of the Millerites.
Môžeme to dať do paralely s polnočným volaním
And we have
Milleritov.
also the swelling of this cry here.
A tiež tu máme rast tohto volania.
July 21 is Boston, Samuel Snow.
21. júl je Boston, Samuel Snow.
Concord,
Concord.
August 1.
A,
And then August 15th
a potom,
was where the cry reached its peak.
potom 15. august, tam to volanie dosiahlo svojho
And the
vrcholu.
date was given, October 22nd, 1844.
A bol daný dátum.
So we paralleled that for our fractal, the priests,
Takže my sme to dali do paralely s tým našim fraktálom
and we saw the development of the midnight cry message
a videli sme vývoj posolstva polnočného volania
from 2014 till actually this year.
od 2014. do tohto roku.
There recently was a chart published about this development.
Nedávno bola o tom urobená aj tabulka.
And yesterday we pointed out that in 2018,
Včera sme ukázali, že v
on
2018
October 3, I believe,
uh,
this date here was given.
myslím, že 3. oktobra bol daný
And we
dátum.
said that, what did Samuel Snow do?
A povedali sme, že čo urobil Samuel Snow?
Samuel Snow took the message of William Miller,
Zobral posolstvo Williama Millera,
where he predicted Christ's coming
kde predpovedal príchod Krista,
using principles,
používajúc princípy
and he refined that message in the midnight cry time period.
a obnovil to posolstvo v čase polnočného volania.
And we expect the same thing to happen
Očakávame, že sa stane rovnaká vec
in our fractal.
v našom fraktáli.
And yesterday I pointed out that this message, which was given here,
Včera som hovorila, že toto posolstvo, ktoré tu bolo dané,
is just a refinement of the message we received in this dispensation.
je také obnovenie posolstva, ktoré dostaneme v tomto období.
So we are accused of that we changed the time of the end magazine,
Takže sme obvinení z toho, že meníme ten časopis doby konca
which at the surface level sounds valid.
a na takom povrchnej
Yet
úrovni
if
to
we see
znie
Millerite history
platne.
paralleled,
Ale keď pozrieme paralelu s dejinami Milleritov,
based upon the midnight cry message,
na základe polnočného volania,
we should expect some refinement in the midnight cry time period.
mali by sme očakávať nejaké také vyčistenie v čase
And this is
polnočného
exactly
volania.
what happened.
A to je presne, čo sa stalo.
Okay, what else did we do? Then we said that in the loud cry,
Potom sme povedali, že v hlasnom volaní,
it's again we quoted, I think, great controversy,
citovali sme veľký spor,
that in the loud cry,
že v hlasnom volaní
people who once believed in the third angel's message leave.
ľudia, ktorí už raz verili v toto tretie anielské posolstvo, odídu.
Ellen White calls them that they will become our most bitter enemies.
Ellen Whiteová píše, že sa stanú našimi najväčšími
And she says
nepriateľmi.
that they choose the easy and popular side.
Že si vyberú tú jednoduchú a obľúbenú cestu.
And this happens as the storm approaches.
A to sa deje, ako prichádza
Yesterday we
tá
saw that the
búrka.
storm is the close of probation.
Včera sme videli, že tá búrka je záver milosti.
And in this time period,
A v tomto čase
people who have believed in the third angel's message become our enemies.
ľudia, ktorí verili v posolstvo tretieho anjela, sa stanú našimi nepriateľmi.
In our fractal,
V našom fraktáli
this would be in this time period.
toto je v tomto čase.
And this is the storm.
A toto je...
And I suggested that the easy, popular side in the most recent shaking
A ja som navrhla, že tá jednoduchá populárna cesta v tých nedávnych triebeniach
is FFA.
je FFA.
FFA has led this movement for 30 years.
Viedli toto hnutie 30 rokov.
They hold the money.
Majú peniaze.
It's certainly easier to and more popular to be on their side
Je určite populárnejšie byť na ich strane.
as we're facing the storm
Ako tvárou tvár sme v tej búrke.
in our dispensation.
V našom období.
Another thing we said
Ďalšia vec, ktorú sme povedali,
is we went to 1884.
keď sme išli do
Ellen White is being
1844,
rejected.
Ellen Whiteová bola
She has her
odmietnutá.
last open vision,
Má posledné otvorené videnie
and she reminds people in this time period how we should study our Bible.
a pripomína ľuďom v tomto čase, ako by sme mali študovať našu Bibliu.
And she says, those who proclaim the third angel's message,
A hovorí, tí, ktorí hlásajú tretie anielské posolstvo,
how do they study?
ako študujú,
What do they use?
čo používajú.
They study the scriptures the same way as Father Miller.
Študujú písma rovnakým spôsobom ako otec Miller.
And how did William Miller study?
Ako študoval William Miller?
He said he had 14 rules,
Hovoril, že má 14 pravidiel.
and I hope you have all one of these in your Bibles.
Dúfam, že všetci máte takéto v Biblii.
These are the 14 rules, and they're essential.
To je tých 14 pravidiel a sú potrebné.
I'm suggesting that what does Ellen White say here?
Ja navrhujem, že
She's
čo
saying
Ellen
that the
Whiteová
third angel's
tu
message
hovorí.
Will be proclaimed by a methodology.
Hovorí, že tretie anielské posolstvo bude
Emphasis
hlásané
on a
metodológiou. Bude sa študovať
Think
metodou.
back the few days we've been spending together.
Pár dní dozadu, čo sme spolu trávili,
Elder Parminder has been speaking about the third angel's message a lot.
brat Parminder hovoril dosť o treťom
And what
anielskom
is his
posolstve.
constant emphasis?
A čo je tam ten neustály dôraz?
The method,
Spôsob,
our methodology.
spôsob
And I
štúdia.
suggested that in this time period for us and the priests,
V tomto čase pre nás ako kňazov,
which we consider to be the time period of the third angel's message,
čo zvažujeme byť čas posolstva 3. anjela,
it's the emphasis is on methodology.
ten dôraz je na metodológiu.
And I wanted to repeat this point because I thought I wasn't quite clear on this yesterday.
Chcela som toto zopakovať, lebo myslím si, že som v tom nebola dostatočne jasná včera.
I said that people are using this quote and they're manipulating it in a wrong way.
Ľudia používajú tento citát a manipulujú ho nesprávnym spôsobom.
People are saying we have William Miller in this time period,
Ľudia hovoria, v tomto čase máme Williama Millera,
which is paralleling Elder Jeff.
to je v paralele s bratom
And then
Jeffom.
they're quoting this quote
Potom citujú tento citát
and they say, oh, we have to study as Father Miller,
a hovoria, musíme študovať ako otec Miller,
which means for us today we have to study the same way as Elder Jeff.
v našej dobe to znamená tak ako brat Jeff.
Again, I think at a surface reading it seems valid,
Na povrchným spôsobom sa to zdá byť platné,
however, we shouldn't forget the original context,
ale nemali by sme zabudnúť ten pôvodný kontext.
is that it's William Miller's rules and not Elder Jeff's rules.
Sú to pravidla Williama Millera a nie pravidla brata Jeffa.
So when you look in the last few years,
Keď sa pozrieme na tých posledných pár
I asked a
rokov,
question yesterday if who was more emphasizing William Miller's rule, was it Elder Jeff or Elder Parminder?
pýtal som sa, kto viac zdôrazňoval pravidla Williama Millera, brat Jeff alebo brat Parminder.
Who teaches us those rules?
Kto nás učí tieto
And I
pravidla?
said, and I hope you can all see it, it's clearly that Elder Parminder does that.
Je jasné, že to robí brat Parminder. Dúfam, že to môžete vidieť.
Elder Jeff has always been referring to them.
Brat Jeff vždy sa
And
na
I
ne
think this is
odvolával
correct. He did correct.
a to robil dobre.
However, in the time period where it's most essential to have methodology,
Ale v čase, keď je najpotrebnejšie mať metodológiu,
if you take their position they're holding now, FFA,
ak zoberieme túto pozíciu, ktorú FFA drží,
and you check them by using William Miller's rules,
a skontrolujete ich podľa
you
pravidel
will
Williama
find that they're
Millera,
breaking William Miller's rules.
zistíte, že ich porušujú.
So therefore, I think it's not a valid argument how they apply this quote.
Takže si myslím, že to nie je dobrý argument, ako oni toto aplikujú.
Okay, so I'm going to wipe this off now,
Toto
because I made a
vymažem
second promise.
a urobíme
What did I say happened in April 2019?
ďalšiu vec. Čo som povedala, že sa stalo
In 2019.
v 2019?
Yeah, in April this year. Or was it March? March or April this year?
Čo sa stalo v marci, apríli roku 2019?
Does somebody remember?
Pamätáte si?
You have Elder Jeff at
Brat
a
Jeff
camp meeting
bol na camp meetingu,
handing over his mantle to Elder Parminder.
dal
And this is done in the year 2019.
dal ten svoj kabát bratovi
And I asked the
Parminderovi.
question, why this year?
A ja som sa pýtala otázku, že prečo tento rok?
Because there are lines where we could share that the change takes place in this time period.
Sú línie, ktorými môžeme ukázať, že zmena sa deje v tomto čase.
Or in this time period.
Alebo v tomto čase.
But it happened in 2019. Why
Ale
is that?
doslovne sa to stalo v 2019. Prečo?
So we went, in order to understand this,
Na to, aby sme rozumeli tomuto,
I said we need to look at the other examples in the Bible of the first and second messenger.
som povedal, že musíme sa pozrieť na iné príklady v Biblii prvého a druhého posla.
And I said each of them would teach us something about this transition.
A vravela som, že každý z nich nás naučí niečo o tom prechode.
Sorry if I'm not spelling something correct.
Pardon, ak niečo poriadne nespelujem.
Too many languages in my head and I've never been good with spelling. So we have Moses and Joshua.
Mojžiš
We have
a
Elijah and
Jozua,
Elisha.
Eliáš, Elizeus.
Who else do we have?
Koho ešte máme?
John and Christ.
Ján a Kristus.
And one more, which is not as popular, but
Ešte jeden, ktorý nie je až taký populárny.
Miller and Snow.
Miller a Snow.
So yesterday we talked a little bit about that.
Včera sme trochu o tom hovorili.
And what did we say about these?
Čo sme o nich povedali?
They all teach us the same,
Uh,
but also something different.
všetky nás učia to isté, ale zároveň aj niečo iné.
Let's point out a few characteristics.
Ukážeme pár vlastností.
We have always the first and then the second.
To je
Did
prvé a
Moses
druhé.
knew Joshua? Did he train him?
Vycvičil Mojžiš
Yes.
Jozú? Áno.
Did the transition work well?
Išiel ten prechod dobre?
Yes.
Áno.
Same thing with Elijah and Elisha.
Rovnako ako Eliáš a
Yes.
Elizeus.
The same for John and Christ.
Tiež Ján a Kristus.
No.
Nie.
Did John knew Christ?
Poznal Ján Krista?
Did he train him?
Vycvičil ho?
No, they
vychoval?
didn't know each other.
Nie, nepoznali sa.
Miller and Snow.
Miller a
Did
Snow.
Miller give his mantle to Snow?
Dal Miller svoj kabát
No, the
Snowovi?
opposite.
Nie, naopak.
Miller tried to stop Snow.
Miller sa snažil zastaviť Snowa.
So it seemed that these things are contradicting each other.
Zdá sa, že tieto veci si navzájom protirečia.
But I'm suggesting that every story we can take at each story
Ale každý príbeh môžeme zobrať,
and lay it over here,
dať ho na tento
and each will teach us a different characteristic.
a každý nás naučí niečo iné.
April or March this year,
Marec, apríl
go and
tento
watch the
rok.
video. I referred to it yesterday.
Včera som o tom hovorila, pozrite si to.
It's on the Future is Now YouTube channel.
To je na YouTube pre
When this
Future is
happened-
Now. Keď sa toto stalo,
Elder Jeff used these two
brat Jeff použil tieto dve,
in order to explain why he knows Parminder, he knows him since the beginning, and he's the next messenger.
na to, aby vysvetlil, že on už pozná Parmindra a on vie to od začiatku, že on je ten ďalší posol.
That was his reasoning,
To bol jeho dôvod.
one of them.
Jeden z nich.
Now,
Teraz
he uses a different logic.
používa inú logiku.
Now he says, I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
Hovorí, pardon, ja som sa zmýlil.
This transition is still future
Toto je stále ešte budúcnosť.
because John never met Christ.
Ján sa nikdy nestretol s Kristom.
Therefore, the second messenger I never met,
Takže toho druhého posla som nikdy nestretol
and I did meet Parminder beforehand.
a Parminda som už stretol.
So therefore, it can't be him.
Takže to nemôže byť takto.
Can you see how FFA is contradicting itself?
Vidíte, ako si FFA protirečí?
Depending on what message they want to bring across.
Závisí, aké posolstvo chcú priniesť.
We know that we can look at things in a different perspective,
Na veci sa môžeme pozrieť z rôznych perspektív,
yet for William Miller's rules teach that there needs to be harmony when we do that.
Pravidla Williama Millera učia, že musí v tom byť harmónia.
And there's no harmony when Elder Jeff one time says he's the chosen one,
Toto nie je harmónia, keď brat Jeff najprv povie, že on je ten vyvolený
and the next day he says, I pray that he's being confused.
a potom povie, ja som sa modlil,
this is not how
on je
this works.
zmetený. Tak toto nefunguje.
The next thing we pointed out yesterday was
Ďalšiu vec, ktorú sme ukázali včera,
that
bola,
Moses and Elijah, they go to heaven after they did this transition.
že Mojžiš a Eliáš idú do neba a potom to, ako sa stane tento prechod, presun.
John dies,
Ján zomrie
and William Miller, we could say he falls into apostasy, actually.
a William Miller môžeme povedať, že padol do odpadnutia.
However, when we consider these, we see that the influence of the first messenger dies,
Vidíme, že vplyv prvého posla zomiera.
Moses or Elijah do not come down from heaven again to say, hey, I think you should do it this and this way.
Mojžiš a Eliáš neprichádzajú z neba na zem, aby povedali, mal by si to robiť takto a takto.
John doesn't come out of the grave and says, hey, Christ, I think you're doing something wrong.
Ján neprichádza z hrobu, aby hovoril, že robíš niečo zlé.
Their influence completely dies.
ten vplyv zomrie.
Because this transition
Lebo tento
of
prechod
this mantle, using this story here,
tohto kabata, používajúc tento príbeh,
is the transition of the spirit,
to je prenesenie ducha,
of inspiration, so to speak.
inšpirácie,
The Spirit of God,
ducha Božieho,
prophetic gift
prorocký dar,
to understand prophecy.
rozumieť proroctvu.
It's transferred from the first
Je to
to
presnuté
the second.
z prvého na druhého.
What happens when a dead person speaks again?
Čo sa stane, keď mŕtvý človek hovorí znovu?
What would have happened if John would have come out of his grave and spoke again?
Čo by sa stalo, keby Ján vyšiel z hrobu a hovoril?
It's the witch of Endor. What is what is Saul trying to do?
Čo sa snaží robiť Saul?
He's trying to call Samuel from the dead to seek counsel.
Samuela chce povolať z mŕtvych, aby u neho hľadal
It's spiritualism.
nejakú radu. To je špiritizmus.
In evangelism,
Saul toto robí.
yeah,
Knihe
it's 249, paragraph 2. That's just an easy reference for the English.
Evangelizácia
But it actually comes from a
240.
review and held December 18th, 1888.
Evangelizácia 249, ale pochádza to pôvodne z Review a Herald.
Paragraph 24.
24.
Again, look at the time period.
Pozrime sa na tú dobu.
It's the 1888 message.
Posolstvo 1888.
The big crisis.
Veľká kríza.
It would have been the empowerment of the third angel,
Bolo by to zmocnenie
which puts us right
tretieho
in this time
aniela.
period, as we've learned from Elder Parminder.
To je v tejto dobe.
I'm going to do an application now from Ellen White quote.
Urobím,
From her quote.
urobím aplikáciu z citátu Ellen Whiteovej.
Let's see what Ellen White says.
Poďme sa pozrieť.
She says a correct understanding of what the scripture says
Správne porozumenie toho, čo písmo hovorí,
in regard to the state of death is essential for this time.
ohľadne stavu mŕtvych je potrebné pre túto dobu.
Why is it so essential?
Prečo je to také potrebné?
If you Google in Wikipedia and you type in spiritualism,
Ak pôjdete do Wikipédie, napíšete si tam
you will find
špiritizmus
that the 1880s,
a zistíte, že
spiritualism was reaching a peak.
v rokoch 1880 špiritizmus bol na vrchole.
After 1844, it came up sometime after that,
Niekedy po 1844 to prišlo
and you can trace a line of spiritualism actually.
a môžeme tú líniu tam sledovať toho špiritizmu.
Essentially in this time period was that dead people were knocking or having communications with people who were still alive.
Tam bolo to klopkanie a rôzna komunikácia s mŕtvými.
And Ellen White reminds God's people in the crisis,
Ellen Whiteová pripomína Božiemu ľudu v tejto kríze,
in the Sunday law time period,
v čase nedeľného
because
zákona.
1888 would have been the Sunday law,
1888 by bol nedeľný zákon.
she reminds people that they need to know the state of the dead.
Pripomína ľuďom, že potrebujú poznať stav mŕtvych.
God's word declares that the dead know nothing.
Božie slovo hovorí, že mŕtvi nevedia nič.
Next sentence.
Ďalšia veta.
We must come to the sure word of prophecy for our authority,
Musíme prísť k istému slovu prorockému.
unless we are intelligent in the scriptures, may we not, when this mighty miracle working power of Satan is manifested in our world, be deceived and call it the workings of God. For the word of God declares that if it were possible, the very elect should be deceived. Let me summarize.
Ja to zhrniem.
She's saying here,
Ona tu
we
hovorí,
need the scriptures
že potrebujeme písma,
in order to protect ourselves from the mighty working power of Satan.
na to, aby sme ochránili sami seba od tej mocnej
That we
síly
not be
satana.
deceived
Aby sme
and
neboli
call these miracles the power of God.
Aby sme neboli zvedení a nazývali
The
to
working of
zázrakom
God, excuse
Božím.
Then God says
Boh hovorí,
the elect can be deceived, the very elect.
že by mohol zviesť aj vyvolených.
Unless we are rooted and grounded in the truth,
Ak nie sme v pravde zakotvení,
we shall be swept away by Satan's delusive snares.
budeme zmetení tými satanovými
Obviously,
pastami.
she's talking about that dead people are appearing.
Tu ona hovorí o mŕtvych, ktorí sa objavovali.
Those are the miracle workings of Satan.
To boli zázraky, ktoré robil Satan.
And now I want to do an application,
Teraz chcem spraviť aplikáciu,
similar to the Sunday law.
podobnú k nedeľnému zákonu.
We as Adventists, we take the Sunday law and we say it's a literal Sunday law at the end of the world.
My adventisti vezmeme nedeľný zákon a povieme, že to je doslovný nedeľný zákon na konci sveta.
We already see in this movement now
Vidíme v tomto hnutí,
that when we look at the world, it doesn't make sense that it would be a Sunday law.
že keď sa pozrieme na svet, to nedáva žiadny zmysel, že by bol nedeľný zákon.
So the same way we're addressing the Sunday law issue,
Rovnakým spôsobom, ako sa vyjadrujeme k téme nedeľného zákona,
I like to approach the state of the dead issue.
tiež sa chcem vyjadriť k tej
What do Adventists believe?
téme,
How is the state of the dead?
čo veria adventisti,
The dead know nothing.
že mŕtvi nevedia
There's
nič.
no soul somewhere in heaven, alive,
Nie je nejaká duša v nebi nažive,
which can talk to us once in a while.
ktorá nám môže niečo rozprávať.
Do we really think that at the end of the world,
Naozaj si myslíme, že na konci
Satan is
sveta
going to deceive the very elect,
Satan zvodí tých vyvolených,
7-day Adventism,
adventistov 7.
which
dňa,
already know the state of the dead very well?
ktorí už poznajú stav mŕtvych.
You think he's going to deceive them by waking Ellen White up and bring her here into this camp meeting?
Myslíte, že ich zvedie tak, že zobudí len Whiteová a privedie ju akože sem na camp meeting?
Every one of us would know that this is a demon.
Každý z nás by vedel, že to je démon.
So how does this speak to our time?
Ako to hovorí do našej doby?
I suggest that we have to understand it spiritually.
Musíme tomu rozumieť duchovne.
Let's bring it very close to home,
Priveďme to bližšie k sebe.
to the priests,
Ku kňazom,
the very elect.
tým vyvoleným.
What is the most dangerous deceptive for the priests?
Čo je najzvodnejšie pre kňazov a najnebezpečnejšie?
What do you think?
Čo myslíte?
That the leader, which for 30 years had led this movement,
Že vodca, ktorý 30 rokov viedol toto hnutie,
who gave his mantle to the next messenger,
ktorý dal svoju,
which means he's spiritually dead,
ako keby svoju prácu ďalšiemu
of course not
poslovi.
literal,
Čiže duchovne, ako keby jeho
he's
práca
spiritually dead.
duchovne zomrel.
What does he do after he gave the mantle?
Čo on robí potom, ako predal ten prorocký
On
kabát?
September 7th of 2019,
7. septembra 2019.
he's starting to speak again.
Začína hovoriť znovu.
This is a dead person speaking.
Toto hovorí mŕtvý
That
človek.
spiritualism.
To je špiritizmus.
This is the deception for the very elect,
To je zvod pre tých vyvolených.
just before their close of probation.
Tesne pred záverom milosti.
I hope this was very clear.
Dúfam, že toto je jasné.
Let's come now to the year 2019. I've been letting you wait for too long now.
Poďme teraz do 2019.
Where are my notes? Here. So let's read a quote.
Prečítajme
The
si
Sigh of
citát
Ages,
Túžba vekov,
page 182, paragraph 1.
182.
We're talking again about John.
Hovoríme o Jánovi.
John had been called to lead out as a reformer.
Ján bol povolaný, aby viedol ako reformátor.
Because of this, his disciples were in danger of fixing their attention upon him.
Kvôli tomuto jeho učeníci boli v nebezpečenstve, že na ňo upriamia svoje oči.
Feeling that the success of the work depended upon his labors and losing the sight of the fact that he was only an instrument through which God had wrought.
Očakávajúc, že úspech práce závisí na ňom a zabúdajúc na to, že on bol iba nástroj, ktorý Boh použil.
But the work of John was not sufficient to lay the foundation of the Christian church.
Ale dielo Jána nebolo
When he
dostatočné,
had fulfilled his mission,
aby položil základy kresťanskej cirkvi.
another work was to be done,
Keď naplnil svoje dielo, muselo byť
which
urobené
his
ďalšie
testimony could
dielo.
not accomplish.
A to jeho svedectvo
His
nemohlo
disciples did not
dokonať.
understand it.
Jeho učeníci tomu nerozumeli.
When they saw Christ coming in to take the work, they were jealous and dissatisfied.
Keď uvideli Krista a že preberá dielo, boli závisliví a nespokojní.
The same danger still exists.
Rovnaké nebezpečenstvo stále existuje.
God calls a man to do a certain work,
Boh povoláva ľudí, aby robili určité dielo,
and when he has carried as far as he is qualified to take it,
a keď ho zobral tak ďaleko, ako mal, alebo bol
the
na to
Lord brings in
určený,
others to carry it still further.
Pán prináša ďalších, aby ho niesli ďalej.
Finish the paragraph. It's a good paragraph in your own time.
Prečítajte si to vo svojom čase, je to veľmi dobrý odstavec.
What is she saying here?
Čo tu ona hovorí?
John was important.
Ján bol
He did a
dôležitý,
good job.
urobil veľmi
He
dobré
was
dielo,
called.
bol
But
povolaný.
could he do all the work?
Ale mohol to spraviť
Could he
všetko?
be there all the time?
Mohol tam byť stále?
No.
Nie.
He was to carry it for a certain time.
Mal to niesť určitú dobu.
And then somebody else was to take it on and carry it even further.
A potom niekto iný mal prísť a niesť to ďalej.
This is the subject of the first and second messenger.
Toto je téma prvého a druhého posla.
That's the subject of project management.
To je projektové
It's very
manažerstvo.
inefficient and unorganized
Je to veľmi neefektívne a nezorganizované,
when a person tries to go over what they are qualified for.
keď ľudia sa snažia robiť viac, ako sú povolaní alebo kvalifikovaní.
Elder Jeff was called to do a certain work.
Brat Jeff bol povolaný, aby robil určité dielo
And I'm suggesting
a ja hovorím,
his last task,
že jeho posledná úloha,
just like John's last task,
tak jak Jánova posledná úloha,
was to hand over the mantle.
bol predať ten kabát ďalej.
That's how far they were to go.
Tak ďaleko mal zájsť.
Now the next messenger has to carry the work forward.
Teraz ten ďalší
what
posol má
do
niesť to
people
dielo
do?
ďalej. Ale čo urobili
They
ľudia?
depend on the first messenger.
Boli stále závisí na prvom poslovi.
And the first messenger thinks also that he's more qualified to go even longer, so to speak.
A on si myslí, že má ísť ešte ďalej v tej svojej práci.
Let me see if I'm not gonna read this quote because of the sake of time.
Ďalší citát nebudem čítať kvôli času,
But it's 1 SG 29 paragraph, page 129.
je to 1 SG, 29.
There
strana.
again, it talks about John and when Christ came on the scene,
Tam sa hovorí o Jánovi a keď Kristus prišiel na scénu,
and he baptizes Christ.
pokrstil Krista
And John informs his disciples
a Ján informuje svojich
that when
učeníkov,
Jesus was establishing him as a great teacher,
že keď Ježiš ho ustanovoval za veľkého učiteľa,
that he must close his work.
že on musí to svoje dielo ukončiť.
So he knows that he has to end,
On vie, že musí skončiť
and that Christ, as he teaches, starts to teach,
a Kristus začína učiť, keď
this
učí,
transition is taking place.
že sa deje tento prechod.
I'm saying this literally happened in our movement.
Toto sa doslovne stalo v našom hnutí.
The second messenger,
Ten druhý
Elder
posol,
Parminder, has been establishing himself over the years as a great teacher.
brat Parminder za roky sa im seba ustanovil
Just
za
go
dobrého
back and watch the
učiteľa.
presentations of Elder Jeff.
Pozrite si prezentácie brata Jeffa.
How many times did he refer to Elder Parminder saying he's the one?
Koľkokrát hovoril o bratovi Parmindrovi, on je ten.
He understands the lines in a way that he doesn't understand them himself.
On rozumie líniám spôsobom, akým brat Jeff nerozumie.
And this year he understood that his ministry needs to come to an end.
A on pochopil tento rok, že jeho poslanie musí skončiť.
So why 2019?
Prečo 2019?
If you remember a study
Ak si pamätáte štúdiu
of Elder Parminder, I think in 2017, Italy,
brata Parmindra 2017 v Taliansku,
he did the following.
urobil následovné.
He had our line.
Tu je naša línia.
And by the way,
Mimochodom,
when does John give the mantle to Christ?
kedy Ján predáva Kristovi ten
When
kabát?
is Christ being anointed?
Kedy je Kristus pokrstený?
Which technically is giving the mantle.
Čo znamená dať ten
It's his
kabát?
baptism.
Je to jeho krst.
And we know we can demonstrate that here.
To tu vieme ukázať.
9/11.
9.11.
But what Elder Parminder, he had a study, and I think it's still valid,
Brat Parminder, myslím, že stále je to ešte platné.
in 2017,
2017,
where he showed 9/11
kde ukázal 9.11.
from, I think it's John 1. What time period starts here?
Aký čas tu začína?
It's a fairly older study, maybe 4 years old,
Je to staršia štúdia, má asi 4 roky.
but it's the study of Elizabeth.
Je to o Elizabeth.
Do you remember that?
Pamätáte si to?
This is the time period of the hiding.
To je čas skrývania.
And then at the end of the hiding time, who joins her?
A na konci skrývania, kto sa s ňou stretne, alebo kto k nej príde?
Maria, and they prophesy both.
Mária a
And
prorokujú
they
si.
spend 1 month together.
A trávia spolu 1 mesiac.
And in the terms we used back then,
A v pojmy, ako sme to vtedy nazývali,
we said this 1 month is the binding off time period,
sme vravili, že tento mesiac jeden to je zväzovanie,
which is from midnight to the midnight cry.
čo je od polnoci do
So
polnočného
in the study
volania.
Elder Parminder did,
Tej štúdii, ktorú urobil brat Parminder,
was that he showed that at baptism,
On
what
uka-
happens to you?
ukázal, že pri krste sa vám stane čo?
When you resurrect, you are like a newborn baby, right?
Ste ako
So he says you can mark
novozrodený.
birth here,
Takže tu je narodenie
and then you're in hiding.
a potom ste v skrývaní.
And then he suggested that Christ is being born he's born,
Potom navrhol, že Kristus sa
and how
narodí.
long is he in hiding for?
A ako dlho sa skrýva?
30 years.
30 rokov.
And after 30 years, what is he doing?
Po 30 rokoch robí čo?
He would come out of hiding and do what?
A keď sa výjsť zo skrývania, potom čo
Be
robí?
baptized by John,
Potom je pokrstený Jánom,
to be anointed,
aby bol pomazaný
and essentially then also start his ministry.
a začal svoju služobnosť.
So we have the Christ being born,
Takže máme narodenie Krista,
then the 30 years of hiding,
30 rokov skrývania,
then we would have the baptism here,
potom tu máme krst,
then we would have the wilderness, and then he would do what?
púšť a potom čo?
Public ministry,
Verejná služba
going to the Levites.
k
So I
Levitom.
hope maybe some of us remember that study.
Dúfam, že si to pamätáte.
However, we marked the baptism at midnight.
Značíme ten krst na polnoc.
And midnight, or that baptism, is where John basically hands over the mantle to Christ.
A to je čas, kedy Ján dáva
And in this
Kristovi
application, it's marked here.
ten
So
kabát.
2018 comes.
Príde 2018.
Can we put a date now here?
Môžeme sem dať dátum.
Now we know that midnight,
Už vieme, že polnoc,
Rafia,
Rafia,
is 2019.
je 2019.
Here, baptism should take place.
Tu by sa mal udiať krst.
in the sense of handing over the authority.
V zmysle predávania autority.
I suggest that's one witness
To je jeden svedok,
to explain why this had to happen in 2019.
na vysvetlenie toho, prečo sa toto muselo
Because
udiať
under
v
this
2019. Pod týmto vedením
We are in the desert right now,
sme teraz
and we
na
soon
púšti
start public ministry.
a čoskoro začneme verejnú službu.
But we need a second witness, right?
Potrebujeme druhého svedka.
One question.
Otázka.
From 1989
Od
to 2019,
1989
how many years?
až 2019 je koľko rokov?
30 years.
30 rokov.
What happens when Christ is 30?
Čo sa stalo, keď Kristus mal 30?
He's getting baptized.
Bol pokrstený.
So we have two witnesses
Máme dvoch svedkov,
where we see that Christ, here at this point,
kde vidíme, že Kristus v tomto bode
would receive baptism
príjme
when
krst,
he received the anointment. He
pomazanie,
becomes the Messiah. He becomes the Messiah,
stane sa Mesiášom
and he soon starts his ministry.
a začne svoje dielo, svoju
And through the
službu.
Midnight Cry message, we knew now that this was 2019.
My sme vedeli, že toto bol 2019.
So when Elder Jeff
Keď brat Jeff
handed this spring
toto leto
his mantle over to Elder Parminder,
dal svoj kabát
It was
bratovi
right on
Parminderovi, bolo to presne na čas.
even if we maybe not have recognized it.
Aj keď si to možno neuvedomil,
But some people might think now,
ale niektorí ľudia si môžu myslieť,
Elder Jeff is such a positive symbol often.
brat Jeff je často pozitívnym
Look,
symbolom.
he's as a symbol, he represents these people.
On reprezentuje symbolicky týchto ľudí.
How come that he can be doing this what he's doing now?
Jak je to možné, že robí to, čo teraz robí?
That he's so against us,
Že je tak proti nám.
so against the person he anointed himself. He's against the person he anointed himself.
Je proti človeku, ktorého sám pomazal.
Think about that.
Rozmýšľajte.
I think it's 2016 where he anoints Brother Parminder.
Myslím, že v 2016 ho pomazal.
Was it 2017 or 18 that he even baptizes him into this movement?
Myslím, že v 2018 ho pokrstil.
2019 he anoints him again as the leader of this movement.
V 2019 ho znova pomazal za vedúceho tohto hnutia.
How can you 6 months later,
Ako sa to dá o 6 mesiacov neskôr,
when you were so sure that this is the person,
keď ste si boli takí istí, že toto je ten človek,
when you say, I'm the leader,
keď poviete, ja som vedúci
I know who is supposed to be the next leader,
a viem, kto má byť ďalší vedúci,
and I know it's him,
viem, že je to on,
how can you be so wrong?
ako sa môžete
At
tak
the end.
strašne zmýliť na konci?
It wouldn't put much trust into his message, actually.
To nedáva veľkú dôveru jeho posolstvu.
What does rule number 10 say of William Miller?
Čo hovorí 10. pravidlo Williama Millera?
Symbols can have more
Symboly môžu
than one
mať
meaning.
viac ako
Elder
jeden
Jeff is a symbol.
význam. Brat Jeff
We're
je
not talking
symbol.
about him as person in a moral way.
Nehovoríme o ňom morálnym spôsobom, ako o človeku.
Elder Parminder signifies also a message
Brat Parminder predstavuje aj posolstvo.
or a symbol as a person for a biblical figure.
Alebo je to symbol pre biblickú postavu.
A symbol can change.
Symbol sa môže zmeniť.
And let's look at, I think it's Matthew 16.
Poďme sa pozrieť na Matúša 16.
I'm checking. Yes, Matthew 16.
Matúš 16.
We see that that Christ is with his disciples at Caesarea Philippi.
Vidíme, že Kristus je so svojimi učeníkmi v Cezareji Filipi.
And he asks them a question.
Pýta sa ich otázku.
Say, who do you think I am?
Kto si myslíte, že ja som?
And then Peter answers him,
A Peter mu
says,
odpovedá.
the Son of the living God.
Syn živého Boha.
And what does Christ do then?
A čo potom Kristus
He
urobí?
praises him.
Uh,
He says Simon did well. And we know that Peter in this passage represents the 144,000.
vieme, že Peter v tejto pasáži predstavuje 144 000.
It's a study of public domain.
To je verejná štúdia.
However, go a few verses down.
Choďte pár veršov ďalej.
Verse 22 and 23.
22 a 23.
What is Peter now?
Čo je Peter teraz?
What does Christ tell him?
Čo mu Kristus povie?
Verse 23.
23.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Chod za mňa, Satan.
How can it be that in one chapter,
Jak to môže byť, že v jednej kapitole,
maybe even in one conversation,
v jednej konverzácii,
Christ first praises Peter, says, you did well,
Kristus najprv chváli Petra, že urobil si dobre,
and the next moment he says, you're Satan.
a v ďalšej chvíli povie, ty si Satan.
This is methodology.
To je metodológia.
Symbols can change.
Symboly sa môžu
And this
zmeniť.
is what happened with Elder Jeff after this transition, which took place here.
Toto sa stalo s bratom Jeffom, potom to prechode tu.
He was the leader,
On bol vedúci,
loved,
milovaný,
but now
ale teraz
he's our most bitter enemy.
je našim najväčším
And this
nepriateľom.
I don't mean in a moral way.
Nemyslím to morálnym spôsobom,
I mean that in a prophetic way.
ale prorockým.
Elder Jeff has changed symbols.
Brat Jeff zmenil tie symboly.
He has become the most deceptive deception to this movement, to the priests.
Stal sa najväčším zvodom pre kňazov v tomto hnutí.
Now, I'm not sure if you know about that, but FFA now,
Nie som si istá, či viete, ale FFA teraz
they're apologizing for this.
sa za toto ospravedňujú.
They say we've done a mistake
Povedali, spravili sme chybu,
because John never knew Christ.
lebo ja nikdy nepoznal Krista,
Therefore, I don't know the next messenger.
takže nepoznám ďalšieho posla
And the transition will take place in the future.
a ten prechod sa udeje v budúcnosti.
Does that work?
To tak nefunguje.
Does God allow something like that?
Takto funguje Boh?
What is being transferred here?
Dovoluje niečo, čo sa tu
I'm
prenáša.
suggesting that this spirit which is transferred,
To je duch, ktorý sa prenáša.
the spirit is a gift,
Duch je dar,
but it's also a blessing.
ale tiež aj požehnanie.
So the blessing is being transferred.
Takže sa prenáša požehnanie.
And in the Old Testament,
A v starom zákone
we know that when the time was there, the
Vieme-
Father came to the Son,
Vieme,
or
že
the Son came to the Father,
keď prišiel čas, prišiel syn k otcovi
and the Father would lay his hands on the Son and give him his blessing.
a otec dal tie svoje ruky na syna, požehnal ho.
But what do you think? How often did the Father get to do this?
A ako často toto otec robil?
Only one time.
Len jedenkrát to mohol spraviť.
When Jacob betrayed his family,
Keď Jakob zradil
he
svoju
received that
rodinu,
blessing.
on dostal to požehnanie.
And what did Esau say?
A čo povedal Ezau?
Do you have another blessing?
Máš ešte pre mňa požehnanie?
Is there another blessing?
Môže mať ešte požehnanie?
No.
Nie.
You only get to do it one time.
Môžeš to urobiť len raz.
Elder Jeff only got to do it one time.
Brat Jeff to tiež mohol urobiť len raz.
There is no second blessing he can do.
Nie je
Can
druhé
give.
požehnanie, ktoré môže dať.
Talking about the switching of the symbols,
Hovoriac o tom menení tých symbolov,
I'll do it down here.
urobím to tu.
I hope everyone is familiar with the lines of the revolutions.
Dúfam, že všetci poznáte tú líniu revolúcií.
It's a study of Sister Tess.
To je štúdium sestry Tess.
And if you remember that,
Ak si to pamätáte,
she has these various revolutions,
má rôzne revolúcie
and then she demonstrates how the first revolution comes to an end.
potom ukazuje, ako tá prvá revolúcia končí,
Then there is this time period, this gap here.
Potom je tu tento čas taká prestávka.
And then the second revolution would start, the counter-revolution.
A potom začína druhá revolúcia.
And she showed from history
A ukázala z dejín,
how this end here often is marked by November 9th.
ako tento koniec je často zaznačený 9. novembrom.
And to make a long story short,
Aby som to skrátila,
we marked it here this year.
zaznačili sme to sem tento rok.
You remember the meeting we had actually in this room? We talked about this.
Pamätáte to stretnutie, čo sme mali? Hovorili sme o tom.
In the lines of the revolution,
V líniách revolúcií,
what character do we mark here?
akú
What do we
vlastnosť
mark at this waymark?
značíme na tento míľnik?
If you remember,
Ak si
it is a
pamätáte,
dictator who dies,
bol to diktátor, ktorý zomiera.
like Kaiser Wilhelm II.
Napríklad Kaiser Wilhelm
He's
II.
not Kaiser anymore.
Nie je Kaiser.
We see also the Russian Revolution.
Ruská revolúcia.
The Tsar has to give his power away.
Cár musí dať tú svoju moc.
In very other slide, we see that a dictator dies,
Diktátor zomiera.
but at the same time, what happens?
V rovnakom čase, čo sa deje?
A dictator rises.
Diktátor povstáva.
Napoleon, November 9th.
Napoleon, 9. november.
I think it was 1799.
Myslím, že 1799.
November 9th, in the time period of the revolution, demonstrates an end of an area.
9. november v revolúcii ukazuje koniec určitej éry.
In the study of the revolution,
V štúdiu revolúcií
November 9th,
9. november,
where the first revolution ends in those stories,
kde prvá revolúcia končí,
it marks an end of an area.
značí koniec éry.
And a new area starts. It's like a turning
A
point.
potom začne nová éra. To je bod obratu.
And I suggest that this year,
Tento rok,
when Elder Jeff does what he does now,
keď brat Jeff robí to, čo robí,
he gives over his mantle,
dáva svoj kabát
as well
ďalej
as he falls into apostasy now.
a
A long area comes to an end,
celá tá éra
and
prichádza
a
ku
new
koncu
area
a
starts.
začína nová éra.
And interesting, as externally we see it internally,
Tak, jak v vonkajších udalostiach, vidíme to aj vnútorných.
a dictator is rising.
Povstáva diktátor.
And if you see the behavior of FFA
Keď vidíte správanie FFA
and the way how they conduct things, it's quite dictatorial.
a spôsob, ako prichádzajú k veciam, je taký diktatoriálsky.
And we don't have to call it a dictator,
Nemusíme to nazývať
we just call
diktátorstvo,
it headship.
ale vedenie.
Shanice? That there's one boss, so to speak.
Je jeden šéf.
And I'm suggesting September 7th,
7. september,
Elder Jeff
Brat
clearly
Jeff.
showed who the boss is.
brat Jeff jasne ukázal, kto je ten
That
šéf.
he's the boss.
Že on je ten šéf.
It doesn't work that way.
To tak nefunguje.
Because you can only give your blessing one time.
Požehnanie môžete dať len jedenkrát.
What I thought was interesting,
Čo som si myslela, že je zaujímavé,
you know the lines that we compare Donald Trump with Elder Jeff.
poznáte tú líniu, kde porovnávame Donalda Trumpa s bratom Jeffom.
What is Donald Trump trying to do?
Čo sa Donald Trump snaží urobiť?
He's still joking about it,
Sranduje o tom,
but essentially he's trying to run longer or to be longer president than he's actually allowed to be.
ale snaží sa byť dlhšie prezidentom, ako je mu dovolené.
And internally,
Vnútorne
this is the same thing what is happening with Elder Jeff.
sa deje to isté s bratom Jeffom.
John
Jan
was only to go to a certain point,
mali ísť len po určitý bod
and others were to take on the work.
a ostatní mali zobrať jeho dielo.
But on September 7th,
Ale 7.
Elder
septembra
Jeff says, now the true midnight cry has come.
brat Jeff hovorí, prišlo skutočné polnočné volanie.
Actually marks that he wants to run longer as a leader of this movement than he is actually intended to.
A A to značí, že chce dlhšie ísť, ako pôvodne mal.
Closing thought.
Záverečná myšlienka.
Let's go to Matthew 24.
Poďme do Matúša 24.
We know it's a famous chapter,
Vieme, že to je slávna kapitola,
where we can draw a lot of truth out of it.
z čoho môžeme vytiahnuť mnoho pravdy.
And there I'm looking. Verse 23 and 24.
Verše 23 a 24.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here's Christ, or there, believe it not.
Tedy, keď by hoci kto vám hovoril, tu je Kristus, neverte
For
mu.
there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if there were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Lebo povstanú mnohí Kristovia a keby bolo možné, zvodia aj tých vyvolených.
Verse 25.
25.
Behold,
verš.
I've told you before.
Hľa, povedal som vám to.
Same principle of Isaiah.
Rovnaký princíp
What
Izaiášovi.
makes God the true God,
To, čo Boha robí skutočným Bohom,
as we learned this week,
ako sme sa naučili dnes,
is that God tells things in advance.
je, že Boh hovorí veci dopredu.
And he says here, false Christ will rise.
A on hovorí, že povstanú falošní
He says,
Kristovia.
I've told you before.
A hovorí, ja už som vám to povedal.
A question, who was Christ?
Otázka, kto bol Kristus?
Who was Christ?
Kto bol Kristus?
The second messenger.
Ten druhý
So
posol.
when we approach this verse,
Keď prídeme k tomu veršu,
what could we say?
čo môžeme povedať?
What is Christ warning from?
Od čoho Kristus varuje?
For there shall arise false second messengers.
Lebo povstanú falošní
And
druhí
they shall do
poslovia
wonders.
a budú robiť zázraky.
And if it possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Keby bolo možné, zvolili by aj vyvolených.
Christ was the
Zvodili.
second messenger,
Kristus bol druhý posol
and Christ is warning us that false second messengers will arise.
a varuje nás, že falošní druhí poslovia povstanú
And they do miracles.
a budú robiť zázraky.
If you think about Elijah and the Baal prophets,
Keď rozmýšľate o Eliášovi a tých Bálových prorokoch,
you will see that the message of the wrong side, the false side,
uvidíte, že to posolstvo tej nesprávnej
is
strany
often a very emotional side.
je častokrát emocionálne.
That's how you get people's attention.
Tak získate pozornosť ľudí,
If you play their emotions.
keď hráte na ich emócie.
Revelation 13,
Zjavenie
he
13
does wonders.
robí divy.
Calls fire come down from heaven.
Spôsobí, že príde z neba oheň.
Matthew 24, they're doing miracles and wonders.
Matúšovi 24 robia zázraky.
I'm suggesting in a simple application
Ja hovorím, že v
that the
jednoduchej
false Christ
aplikácii
often that the false Christ will have a very emotional message
falošní Kristovia majú emocionálne posolstvo,
which addresses your emotional needs, or
čo adresuje
which
naše
fascinates you.
emocionálne potreby, čo nás fascinuje.
But that's not the true message.
Ale to nie je skutočné posolstvo.
People might think that what we've been doing the last 2 days,
Ľudia si môžu myslieť, že čo sme robili za posledné 2 dní,
that it's quite boring.
že je to nudné.
Why do you need to know when the third angel arrives and is being empowered?
Prečo musíme vedieť, kedy príde tretí anjel a je zmocnený?
It seems to be dry and very long
Zdá sa to
and maybe
byť
hard to understand.
dlho a ťažko na rozumenie.
But think about Elijah when he was in that cave.
Keď Eliáš bol v jaskyni, porozmýšľajte
How
nad ním.
how did God demonstrate himself?
Ako sa mu Boh prejavil?
Was he in the storm?
Bol v búrke,
In the thunder?
bol v,
No. He was in a
Hrome.
small, silent voice.
bol v jemnom vánku.
it is the midnight cry or I don't want to go there, but it's God's message which is often very silent.
Božie posolstvo je väčšinou veľmi tiché.
Like our message is at the moment,
Tak ako je aj teraz naše.
but it will become loud.
Ale zosilnie.
Okay, so we're going to close here now.
Tuto to uzavrieme.
I hope this is a semi understandable.
Dúfam, že je to aspoň napoli zrozumiteľné.
Tomorrow we will address one more accusation we have.
Zajtra sa porozprávame ešte o jednom obvinení, ktoré
Is
máme.
that we've become a political movement,
Že sme sa stali politickým hnutím.
and then all these Ellen White quotes are being quoted,
A že všetky tieto citáty sú citované.
where she says that we are to have nothing to do with politics.
Kde ona hovorí, že nemáme nič mať s politikou.
We'll address that tomorrow,
O tom budeme hovoriť zajtra.
as well as we will do an application
A tiež spravíme aj
of the Millerite
aplikáciu
time period,
doby Milleritov.
and we'll show that the events which are taking place within the last half a year,
A ukážeme, že udalosti, ktoré sa dejú za posledného pol
That-
roka,
they must have come. They
Mus-
must have come the way how they came.
museli prísť presne ako prišli.
That FFA rejected the Midnight Cry message.
Že FFA odmietlo posolstvo polnočného
That they've
volania.
come off the path.
A že zišli z cesty.
But I want you to keep in mind that when we apply Millerite history to the fractal of the priest,
Ale chcem, aby ste mali na mysli, že keď aplikujeme dejiny Milleritov na
that this is the primary application.
fraktál kňazov, že toto je tá prvá aplikácia.
This is October 22nd, 1944.
Toto je 22. október
And yesterday
1844.
we spoke about that fanaticism will come in.
Včera sme hovorili o tom, že vôjde fanatizmus.
And I'm suggesting we can already see it.
A ja navrhujem, že už to môžeme aj
The
vidieť.
fanaticism is to take the Midnight Cry message to an extreme.
To znamená zobrať polnočné volanie do extrému.
That's what people are doing now.
To je to, čo aj ľudia robia.
They think freedom means no laws.
Myslia si, že sloboda znamená žiadne zákony.
But God says that true freedom,
Ale Boh hovorí, že skutočná sloboda,
because true freedom, He gives true freedom,
on dáva skutočnú slobodu,
always has laws.
tam má vždy zákony.
Because these laws
Lebo tieto zákony
ensure the freedom.
uisťujú slobodu.
And this is a type of fanaticism we have now in our movement, that there's no laws anymore.
A toto je fanatizmus, ktorý máme v našom hnutí, že už nie sú žiadne zákony.
Or that freedom means no moral laws.
Alebo že sloboda znamená koniec zákonom.
And we showed also that after October 22nd, 1844, William Miller fell off the path.
A tiež ukážeme, že po 1844 William Miller odpadol z cesty.
And he completely denied this date.
A úplne poprie tento dátum.
And it was a really sad day.
Bol to smutný deň.
Can't remember it. It was shortly after November 9th,
Bolo to krátko po 9. novembri.
where Elder Jeff gave a class
Brat Jeff dal takú
where he had drawn all these lines which we mark or point to 2019.
nakreslil všetky tie línie, kde my značíme 2019.
And one after the other he wipes out and says, not fulfilled.
A jedno po druhom vymazal. Nenaplnené, nenaplnené,
He
nenaplnené.
completely denies November 9th, 2019, the way how it was taught in the Midnight Cry message.
Úplne poprel 9. november spôsobom, ako bol vyučovaný v polnočnom volaní.
Exactly what William Miller did.
Presne, čo urobil William
And this
Miller.
is perfection. Seeing how history repeats perfectly.
Vidíme, ako dokonalo sa dejiny
And
opakujú.
in this we can be we can be encouraged
V tomto môžeme byť povzbudení,
that also the rest and the promises are being fulfilled perfectly.
že aj nás zasľúbenia sú dokonalo naplnené.
Let's pray.
Poďme sa pomodliť.
Dear Father in heaven,
Drahý nebeský Otče,
thank you for this new day.
ďakujeme Ti za tento nový
Thank
deň,
you for this new year.
nový rok.
Lord, may it be an opportunity
Pane, nech
to come closer to you,
máme možnosť
to get
prísť
more familiar with your message,
bližšie k Tebe, zoznámiť sa bližšie s Tvojim
and
posolstvom
be part of it,
a byť súčasťou Neho.
to be part of the third angel's message as it cries.
Byť súčasťou tretieho anielského posolstva, ako je aj Kristus.
Lord, help us to do the work you want us to do
Prosím, pomôž nám urobiť dielo, ktoré po nás
at every
chceš
time.
v každej dobe.
As this day is coming to an end, we ask you for a continuous blessing.
Ako sa končí tento deň, prosíme ťa o požehnanie pokračujúce
And please give also some rest.
a daj nám prosím aj odpočinok.
In Jesus' name we thank you.
V mene Ježiša ti ďakujeme.
Amen.
Amen.